Hey everyone, Leilani Joy here, and welcome to another episode of The Paint Along, the show where you can paint along with me in real time while I answer your art and not so art related questions. So before we get started, come on, we need to talk about this t-shirt. I told you guys last time that I was going to make a t-shirt with my own personal quote on it that says, "Art ain't got no rules, fools," and I'm sporting it today. Pick up yours in my Etsy shop right now. Anyways, today I've got something really fun and kind of different for you guys. I am actually creating some little mini paintings to give to my potential bridesmaids for my upcoming wedding. So I want to surprise them with some little individual portraits that I'm going to make into little pocket mirrors for them to use during the wedding. So if that's not the cutest thing ever, then I don't know what is. So I've got a lot of questions to get through today, so let me go ahead and show you where I'm at right now. So here you can see that I've got these going a little bit here, and they're all basically from the same template, but I changed their expressions and their hairstyles a little bit to better fit their personalities. And then today I made a little trip to Michael's. This is not endorsed by Michael's, so maybe I won't show their logo. But I just kind of had a field day in there, and I got some of these cute little craft boxes. So I'm gonna put their little pocket mirror in there, and then I've got some little cute some fluffles to put in the boxels. And I'm gonna wrap the little box in some twine, and then I found these adorable little tags. And so I'll show you guys when I'm done how I'm gonna utilize this stuff. And since my colors are kind of aqua and teal and stuff, I'm gonna decorate these little boxes with some little flowers. Oh my god, this is so cute. I can't take it. So anyways, I'll put them together at the end. Hopefully, and so you guys will get to see how they came out. I probably am going to post this video after I make sure my bridesmaids get these, because I don't want to ruin the surprise. Not like they watch my videos anyway. Thanks, friends. You're very true friends, I know. Anywho, okay, so let's jump into the questions while I get started on finishing my little lovely ladies in waiting here. So my first question today comes from Caitlin O, and she asks, what is your favorite art style or favorite thing to do that involves art? Well, I like a lot of different styles. You guys probably know this. I don't know. Every time I see a new one, I'm like, no, that's my favorite. That's my favorite. I personally love surrealism. I like pop surrealism right now as a modern art style. But I'm mostly, I don't know, I always say that Art Nouveau is really one of my favorites, which is a lot of people's favorites, so I guess that's an easy answer. I love Art Deco, like Erte. It's very shape-based and geometric a lot of ways. So I think I'm probably in there somewhere. I don't know, definitely I've got anime mixed in and manga and animation inspiration. So I don't know. My personal style, I feel, is definitely a big old hodgepodge of different styles. But I don't know if I can really pick a favorite because, if you guys were to see my house or even my studio walls, I have a lot of different types of art that I like to collect by classic art, modern art. I don't know. I like it all. As far as what is your favorite thing to do that involves art, like other than making it? Not really sure. I love to go to art shows and get free wine, so I'm into that. If they got champagne or wine at these free events, I'm down for that. My next question comes from Screaming Tacos. Why are they screaming? I guess they're about to be eaten because they're just so tasty. Okay, whatever. And Screaming Tacos, Copics or Prismacolors? I've never used Copics, so unfortunately I cannot speak to how good they are. I have Prismas. I have Prisma pencils and markers. I don't know. I have heard that Prisma markers, Copic markers are a bit better. I have found that Prisma markers tend to dry out. I don't know. I have a lot that I never even used, and they're already expired. So that's kind of annoying to me. But I don't know. I haven't used Copic, so I can't say. Zoe S asks, how did you start selling your art? By the way, love your paintings. They're beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, my dear. How did I start selling my art? On a street corner. No. I started with Etsy, I believe. Honestly, it's so long ago. I guess technically I started selling art to, like, family friends, that sort of thing. Like my mom's friend was like, can you paint some horses? And I'm like, okay, I've never painted horses before, but she was willing to pay me. So I did a lot of stuff like that at first. I got some little commissions and things from like MySpace, weirdly enough. I had some of my art on MySpace back in the day, and I actually got my first art show from MySpace. This local lady who had this really pretty, like, it was a consignment shop, but she had like a gallery space in it. And she's like, I love your art. If you'd be willing to bring some paintings in, I will get a band, I will have hors d'oeuvres, and I'll give you like this opening. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Of course, I only had like some art from like art school and stuff. And I was like, what the hell? So I spent a crazy manic month doing tons of paintings. I don't know. I don't know. I was very motivated at that time. Now I feel like, God, it takes me so long to do one. But yeah, so that was, sorry, bird walking a bit again. So yeah, I sort of tried lots of different things, to be perfectly honest. So I just kind of threw myself into anything anyone was willing to let me do. Okay, so let's see. I really wanted like a more of a bright pink on that flower. I'm not sure if I like that. Maybe I'll just use a highlighter. I've got this really bright pink highlighter. I'll try it on this one and see if I like that. Okay, my next question comes from Tara Faye, and Tara asks us, I want to create a children's book. It's all done in my mind. Oh, my art's done in my mind too. And I just have to get it all down on paper. However, thanks to having my own children for the last 6 years, I have no portfolio, no art experience, and haven't shown in any galleries or things since high school. Do you think it would be better to do more art and build a portfolio and a following first before trying to get my book published, or do you think it would be fine to just jump straight in? Thanks so much. Ooh, goodness, Tara, that is a very ambitious project you have there. Honestly, I would be nervous even to do one. Books are hard. Books are, there's a lot of competition out there for children's books. I would never tell you not to attempt it. So there's a couple things going on. There's a couple things here. If you are planning to self-publish or do a Kickstarter or something like that for your book, that is pretty hard to do without a following of any kind. So that would be like starting from zero and expecting, I don't know. Your book probably will come out awesome, and maybe so I don't know. You could do it either way is what I'm saying. So if you wanted to kind of have a little confidence, refine your style a little bit before you truly devote yourself to this full book, maybe you would want to do that. I don't know. Actually, I would love, you are a perfect candidate for my class that I'm teaching right now, because I would love to help you polish a little bit, maybe before you throw yourself in the deep end, so to speak, just to brush up on a few things if it's been a while since you've had an art class. Honestly, in writing my art class, I'm like, oh, I totally forgot about that. I should really think about that more when I do my own art. So yeah, so there's that. Or you can go like all the way in, just make that leap and do the book. And then you can take it to publishers and you can shop it around that way and not worry about doing it through crowdfunding. So I don't know. It's up to you. If I were you, I would make a pros and cons list, and then see which one balances out. It's a big undertaking either way. I can tell you that. I started this fashion illustration book for a client a couple years ago It didn't end up happening, but I did about, I don't know, maybe 9-10 illustrations for him. Oh my gosh, it was such a huge amount of work. 'Cause I was working with someone, so he always had input and I had to make changes, but I'm like, it took me like a year to just do 8. So I don't know. It depends on your style and your speed of working and things like that. But let me know. I would love to know where it goes, because that sounds awesome. I would love to do that someday, and I don't even have kids, and I have no time, so I have no idea. Good luck to you, my dear. Keep in touch. Okay, next I have a question from Lioness24000XX, and they asks, I am a young self-taught artist who is needing a teacher. Hi, hello, I'm available. I'm itching to learn more and I want to take your class. Is there an age limit? How much is it? There is no age limit. Oh gosh, not at all. I mean, honestly, if you can read, you can take the class. But honestly, you don't even have to read that much, because basically I don't make you read anything. I just spell it out for you, just like we're doing here. Yeah, so no age limit. The price of the class is $2.99, but I'm giving all of you guys get automatically $20 off. And, you know, I might do some other promotions or little contests or giveaways and stuff, you know, in the future, but right now it's, I'm pretty much sticking to the price. But if you want to take it, you will get $20 off if you use the code TrueFan20. And I really encourage you guys to do the code. I mean, I don't know, I might talk about this a little bit more later. But basically, if you guys are a fan of mine and you use one of my coupon codes, so if you use TrueFan20, I get to keep 95% of the revenue, which is really great, because I'm trying to charge as little as possible to make it affordable for you guys. But if you don't use a code, then Udemy takes 50% from me. So they take 50% and they give me 50%. Which, you know, if it's someone that they brought in randomly, like someone who's just already using Udemy or something, like, that's totally cool with me. I didn't have to do any work. I didn't do any marketing to get that person. But hey, if I earned you as a subscriber and as a fan, then I think I deserve credit for doing that marketing. So please use a code if you guys do sign up. Use the code TrueFan20. Okay, next I have a question from that Amazeballs person, 2000. Do you have to be over 18 to attend your classes? No, crazy. I just answered that for this other person. I'm 15 and I do online school already, but I would love to take your class. You are welcome. Come on in. Make sure you use your code. Okay. Now I have another question from my dear, the art of Martha Pennington. And they ask us today, how do you maximize your viewership on YouTube? That's a good one. So as I've said before, and I never had a strategy for this when I started YouTube, but I have learned quite a bit about this. And again, a lot of this is going to be in my next class, where I talk about, you know, finding your target audience, promoting, marketing yourself, and that sort of thing. So I won't go too in depth in it. But basically, like anything else, like Twitter, like, you know, Facebook tries to do hashtags and things, or Instagram. Instagram's a great example, because there's usually like trendy topics. There's usually things that people are interested in. So if you can format some of your videos to fit things that people are interested in, that definitely helps. So, you know, when I was just starting out, I got a lot of my viewers from, I'm like, today I'm going to draw Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And that was a super popular movie at that time. And I knew that, and I liked it. I didn't, you know, don't force yourself to do anything you don't want to do. But so staying current is definitely a positive. Using hashtags that people often like. I got a huge amount of my following from my Alice in Wonderland art, which was not intentional, and I'm not saying do that, but I'm saying that popular subject matters like that are definitely have attributed to me building up my audience, because a lot of people dig that stuff. So think about that. Think about it, how it applies to you. What type of art that you want to do, what you like to do. So don't trap yourself if you're like, oh crap, I started doing Alice in Wonderland art only and I got a bunch of fans from that and now I don't want to do it. So think about how you fit and then think about how you can work that in, if that makes sense. But again, I want to teach you guys more this specifically and kind of give you some step-by-step models and all that good stuff. So I'm going to do that in the near future. Okay, Zoe P asks, I want to ask you something weird, but here it goes. I love weird. Bring on the weird. The weirder, the better. Honestly, next time I challenge you guys to ask me some weird stuff. Let's get a little weird. Sorry, Zoe. Okay, Zoe says, my mom recently went into the Peace Corps in Africa, and I have been having artist block ever since. I've tried and tried again and again, but nothing comes up. Just wondering if you know anything that could help. Also, I recommend drinking warm milk and honey with honey mixed in. Bye. Oh, you just sound so cute, even in your way you write. That sounds good. Well, stress is a funny thing. I definitely experience this on a regular basis. And you're probably having a little stress and anxiety with your mom gone over in Africa. I mean, that's a big deal. And stress and anxiety can really stunt us creatively. I would know. I haven't talked about this that much, but I suffer from anxiety, often very severely. And I think art kind of helped me in a lot of ways as a kid. It kind of like gave me something to like focus on. I also liked writing, things that kind of were escapism. But I definitely feel that when I'm in financial stress, when I'm in even deadline stress, sometimes I just freeze and I'm like, I cannot think. So like I have said before, don't force it. If maybe there's something else creative that you might like to do. You didn't say how old you are, but I've recently found that I really enjoy cooking, finding recipes and getting the supplies and making it look all pretty like the Food Network. And I just find that it's a kind of a nice creative outlet for me sometimes when I'm feeling burnout on painting. So maybe there's something else you would like to do. Maybe something to do with other people that would kind of like get you out of that funk, take a dance class. I don't know if you're into that. I love dance class. It always, exercise relieves anxiety, and being with other people, expressing yourself physically. So I don't know. I'm also going to give you this link here. I have this little blog post about 33 ways to stay creative. And they were just nice some of them are kind of stupid. But a lot of them are kind of like just nice little ideas to help kind of get you out of that funk. So here's the link to that. Hopefully that helps you. And hang in there. It'll come back. I promise you that. I know it feels, it sucks. Writers get this too. And, but just realize that there is a reason behind it. It's not you. It's probably definitely you're missing your mom, maybe worrying about her, and that's perfectly normal. So just hang in there. Maybe I wish I could have you in my class. I don't know what your situation is, but my class really kind of, it's very like structured, so it gives you like assignments to do. I'm a very like structural type artist, so I sometimes get artist block when I don't have a specific assignment to do. And now, a lot of the work I do is for a client or a specific reason. So I go, okay, I know I have to do something for this. But if you just are like, I am going to do something, sometimes that is just way too broad. And some people I know are also like me, where if they have something, a jumping off point, then suddenly they get inspired. So yeah, so think about that too. Lost Little Dream asks, first of all, my greatest wishes and congratulations for your engagement. Oh, thank you. Actually, thank you to everyone that said congratulations. You guys are so awesome and nice. So Lost Little Dream is, I'm 15 years old and so still have quite a while ahead of me in art, and I'm having a few problems. One is that I'm getting too invested in my art and not my studies. Uh-oh, my mother's words. But I can't really find any motivation to do anything other than draw. Do you have any tips? Oh, that's a hard one. I know that is the plight of a lot of creatives. It didn't happen to be mine. I was sort of like I told you guys, a little bit of a school, well, I was a nerd. I was a perfectionist. So I always studied. I always did my tests. I always did my homework. I very rarely slacked off in any subject. It just wasn't how I was. Even if I didn't like it. I hated math, but I forced myself. But a lot of creative people, sounds like yourself, they just think in a different way. So it's very hard for them to fit themselves into the structure of school. School is not, unless you're at a creative art school, which they do have those, it's not really designed for every single type of learning style. You guys know this. I don't even have to tell you this. So I know that can be really hard. I would do this. I would suggest making small goals for yourself. This is what I do now with video games. This is my reward. But I say, okay, so for example, just be like, okay, I'm going to do my English assignment, or do half even. Make it smaller. I'm going to do half of my essay, and then I will allow myself to go draw for half an hour. Or, I'm going to do 5 math problems, and then I can do a sketch in my sketchbook. So interweave it. That might help you. I know personally that I will get really into an art piece sometimes, and I'm like, oh my god, I started at 5 p.m. and it's now 3 a.m. So I know how hard that can be. So, I'm sure you probably have a smartphone. All 15-year-olds seem to have smartphones now. Set little timers. Allow yourself to take a 20-minute drawing break. And then just say, okay, now I got to go back to my paper for a while. So see if that helps you. Hopefully, see if your mom likes that idea. All right, my next question comes from Tay Doc. And Tay Doc asks, is your class more geared towards painters? I prefer colored pencils since I'm not good with paints. But your class sounds amazing. And congrats on your engagement. I hope you have a wonderful marriage. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. No, it is not geared towards painters at all. Actually, it's super open medium. So whatever medium you want to use. I've got some nice little lectures on different mediums if you're not sure what medium you like. But no, totally medium is up to you. I may do in the future some specific classes on specific mediums, on acrylic or watercolor or something. But for this class, it's totally up to you. So yeah, all mediums are welcome. I would totally love to have you. Use your code. Okay, Haley Covington asks, hi Leilani, congrats on the engagement. Thank you, dear. Thank you. 2 questions. 1, do you still do hand-drawn invitations and birthday things? Just curious. But for our invitations and our little announcements, we're going to just make an illustration, and then we'll have the illustration printed on our postcards or whatever and send those out. So we won't hand make them, but we'll hand design them. So, and her Haley's second question, what is your opinion of the Twilight Zone? I love the Twilight Zone. Actually, I am diehard old Twilight Zone fan. Thanks to my dad. My dad really loved the Twilight Zone, and he got me into them as a young child. And for many summers growing up, they used to do Twilight Zone marathons during the summer. And I would get up every morning and start the Twilight Zone marathon at 10 a.m. and just watch it all day. I love them. I have so many favorite ones. Actually, they're on Netflix now, so I've been slowly rewatching them. I don't think I've even seen all of them because there's so many. But yeah, I love the Twilight Zone. One of my favorite episodes, no spoilers, is the one where the guy is he's on a planet. He's a criminal. He's committed a crime, so they isolate criminals on their own planets, and he has a robot wife that he lives with, and he falls in love with her. And then the police come and they say, well, your sentence is over. You can return to Earth, but you can't bring your robot wife. And he's like, but I love my robot wife. And they're like, she's a machine, you know? And oh, I love that one. I also love some of the great little like reveal ones where it's like in man and woman are like find each other on this strange planet, and then they end up being like Adam and Eve at the end. Of course, I love the one where the woman's beautiful and everybody else is ugly. I mean, that one, oh God, Talking Tina. I could go on. I love the Twilight Zone. There's so many good ones. I recommend watching them. Like, if any of you youngsters out there are like, yeah, it's in black and white. No, come on. They're awesome. The stories are so good. Like, think about telling a suspenseful, like, awesome science fiction mystery in like 20 minutes. I mean, that is not easy to do. Some of them are really scary, and it really holds up. I just think they're super awesome. So, yeah, thanks for bringing up the Twilight Zone. It's just the best. Emily L. She lives. I live. Kind of. Congrats on your engagement. Thank you, Emily. Have you ever heard of a company called Art Snacks? They send random art supplies to you every month. I just signed up with them after watching Drawing with Waffles unboxing video. I think you would enjoy. I have heard of it. I expect it's probably similar to that one that I was showing you guys, the Smart Art Box. Although I think I did hear that Art Snacks is a more affordable. I'm not endorsed by the Smart Art Box or anything, so I can tell you it's actually really expensive. I think it's $50 a month. I don't know about you guys. I don't have $50 a month. Sheesh. So if Art Snacks is more affordable, then that sounds like a great option. So you guys might want to check that one out. Thanks, Emily. All right, Miss Rosalinda Mexico Flores. I always want to do like a little dance when I see your name. Is that wrong? Your name is so fabulous. So Rosalinda asks us, I was working on my art project in my sketchbook during my break from classes. An art teacher and soon 2 tables full of art teachers doing an open house for art major were impressed with my work in my sketchbook. They recommended that I take a graphic narrative class. My boyfriend is supportive of me about it. My question is, what do you think a class like that can make me look forward to and hope for in my art? That sounds awesome. I'm not sure. Let's see. Graphic narrative class. So is that like comics? I mean, it sounds like a fancy word for comics. I'm not really sure. I don't know. It sounds good. Honestly, I would find out more about the class. I'm sure they could give you a syllabus or something. It depends. I mean, if you're interested in that sort of thing. I definitely think that learning to incorporate narrative into your art is vital, especially if you want to be an illustrator. I mean, images tell stories, right? So knowing how to do that effectively is super valuable. And actually, it's one of the things I kind of drive home a lot in my class is that you need to learn how to tell a story. I mean, anybody can just put a head on a canvas and just say, oh, here it is. Well, I guess that's what I'm doing here. But I don't know. I like to have something a little bit more about my art pieces, you know, like in this example, the narwhals, like, is she underwater? Is she floating? She's clearly a unicorn. So it's like, there's a little bit of a narrative even to just a portrait. So I think that could be a super valuable class, and, you know, do your research, find out more about it and see if it's something you're interested in. But I recommend it. If you have a school that offers a class that specific, those are kind of hard to come by. So I think you should definitely check it out. Okay, my next question comes from Mini C-Star, and they ask, how do you handle those that judge what art supplies you use? I personally have not encountered this with my artwork yet, but there seems to be this crowd on social media that attacks artists that use professional or student quality supplies. Oh, I don't know. I mean, screw them, honestly. I know what you're talking about because I've encountered this on YouTube. I don't know. I've gotten some people, I don't know if they still watch this, but somebody was like, I was an instructor for 30 years and it's just shameful that you use student quality paints. Blah, whatever. And I'm like, all right, if you'd like to write me a check, I will buy the fanciest art supplies they have. Yeah, I just think that's super rude and presumptuous to assume that everybody has the means to access that, even if they're a professional artist. I don't know. When I have extra money, yes, I do like to buy better quality supplies. It's great when you can. However, that is not always an option. And I don't know where people get off sometimes. I'm like, who the heck? Why do you care? Honestly, I was talking to, I think I've mentioned this story before, but I asked Jasmine Beckett Griffith about this at Spectrum Fantastic Art Live. She was there showing, and I was just like, so what acrylics do you? I mean, because her paintings look extremely high quality, obviously. And she's like, dude, she's like, I use freaking cheap Liquitex like student paints and a paper plate. She doesn't even buy a palette. She's like, I use like a plastic plate, and I was like, that's awesome. So clearly, it does not really matter. And maybe she likes those. They go on thin, so maybe that's just her thing. So I don't know. Whatever you need to get the job done. I mean, there's certain advantages to better quality supplies, but I have no idea why it's anyone else's business what you want to do. Like, these people that tell me that they're... before I got, like, this nice camera set up and the lighting, people were ringing me on that all the time. They're like, get a better camera, get a better mic, get a better this. And I'm like, send money to this address, and I will be happy to. So, dude, whatever. Just ignore it. It's just people who have too much time on their hands. Honestly, my personal opinion of those people is like, well, if you would spend more time creating your own art instead of hating the art of others, it'd be amazing what you can accomplish. Okay, Ariel Knox asks, salutations, Leilani. May you and your husband to be his future be bright and filled with joy. Oh, well, it will be filled with joy because I'll be there. Anywho, I noticed the beautiful Japanese-inspired geisha in the background. Oh, yeah. She is around here somewhere. I'm assuming it's a geisha. Correct me if I'm wrong. Will that be a paint-along video soon, or is it one of your own personal projects? Actually, I can show... hold on. I will get it and share it with you guys. So, I assume you're talking about this piece, and if you have not seen my video where I painted it, then go back and watch that first. This is my piece that I painted for the 78 Tarot. It was an assignment I got to do a tarot card design for them, and this is the final piece. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it came out. I don't know if she's a geisha per se, not really. She's inspired by kabuki paint, and the theme of my card was meditation. So she's sort of meditating, and she's almost like a geisha monk, something like that. Anyways, I'm pretty excited about how it turned out. I don't have a paint along for this piece though, sadly. The reason is because I had to do it. I had to do it really quickly. I had a deadline that was quick, and I just didn't have time to do it as a paint along. I wish I did. It just, as you can see, when I do the paint along, I have to go at like a little bit more of a leisurely pace. So I wasn't able to on that one, unfortunately. But yeah, so I have prints of that one and the originals for sale in my Etsy shop right now. So if you like it, go and take her home with you. Okay, Athena F asks, hi Leilani, I'm a huge fan for a long time. I think you're awesome. Oh, cool, thank you. I was most inspired by your Ophelia and Black Swan piece. My question is, do you ever have a piece that is extremely personal to you that you find to be too difficult to share or sell, or even feel exposed emotionally? If so, how do you overcome this? I think I definitely have answered this before on another either episode. I don't really have that anymore, and honestly, I'm not really that kind of artist. I definitely feel personally, I take it personal when people insult my art, because all of them definitely come from a place that is very personal to me. They're all sort of an expression of myself in many different facets. So yeah, I definitely take that personally, but I don't know. I don't really have a hard time selling them. Usually because I need the money. It's part of how I make a living. And B, I make canvas reproductions if I want to, it's like, here's, Stella over here. If I want to keep them around me, then I just make a reproduction of them and they never go anywhere. So that's my answer to that. Okay, Jaylene Ray G asks, what is your opinion about fan fictions that are famous but don't deserve it? No, these aren't well-written fan fictions, but I would like to say questionable ones. To name one, there is My Immortal that's become well known for how bad it is. I read it, enjoyed how horrible it was. Guilty pleasure for when I need a laugh. Wonder why it's so known. It makes me wonder why something written so poorly can become famous and something written well can be easily overlooked. I don't really know much about fan fiction, but I definitely think that this applies to many genres, and definitely it applies to art specifically. I won't name any names here, but I've definitely seen art where, like, I don't understand why that is so popular. I don't know. And then I'll see someone else who's super talented and they don't really get anywhere. So got me, man. I don't know. You'd have to poll people. I really don't know. Why is Twilight so popular? I don't know. I didn't really get it. It wasn't my thing. I was like, whatever. I was more of a Buffy fan in the day, and I'm just like, dude, Buffy would kill that Edward fool in like 5 seconds. So I don't know. Not really sure. People like what they like. Why do people like the Kardashians? That's a question, right? I don't know. Guilty pleasure. People love that. Definitely. What do the Kardashians have to offer to society? I haven't figured it out yet, but they are bajillionaires because people like to watch what they're doing. So I don't know. Sorry. I wish I had a more philosophical answer for you, but couldn't really tell you. So I'm pulling up my little, I have some, this is my bouquet inspiration here. So this is kind of what I'm going for my flowers. I just love that so much. So that's what I'm kind of trying to emulate here. So I'll just kind of keep running with that. Okay, next I have a question with, let's see if I got this. Okay. Next I have a question from the DMarie09. I'm so glad you're back. I was able to get a pretty good sketch going during the paint along. Oh, awesome. Love to hear that. Share it with me on Instagram or Twitter. I'd love to see what you guys make. Just put the hashtag Leilani look and then I'll find it. So thank you, lady. I've always been a pencil gal, and it wasn't until I watched one of your paint alongs that I was inspired to paint again. Awesome. I'm sure it's been over 10 years. Oh, wow. While I was painting last night with acrylics, I was immediately irritated with how fast it dried and how it was so hard to blend on paper. Yeah, that's the way of the medium. Sorry to tell you, but that's definitely its way. Well, I mindlessly grabbed for something to thin it out with, and I grabbed up the glycerin instead of water or rubbing alcohol. It was a very bizarre result. I stuck with it, though, and it came out pretty cool. So my question is, have you ever heavily mixed your acrylics with liquid glycerin? And if so, did you like it? Any tips on using that mixture? I have no I honestly don't have any idea what you're talking about. I never heard of using liquid glycerin with acrylic. Sounds interesting. Does it make it like rubbery or like 3D? I don't know. You'd have to share more with us. Not familiar with that one. So yeah, I don't know. If you like it, if you like the result, go with it. Because honestly, as you guys know, I've done a lot of experimenting with thinning out acrylic and wanting to make it more pourable. I really like doing these, like I did on Amalthea, like this pouring technique. And I still feel like I haven't quite mastered it. I love it, but it's super hard to get that mixture just right. So yeah, I don't know, experiment with it. Who knows? There's so many artists that have become like super famous just for finding a creative way to use the medium, honestly. So I would just tell you to run with it. Oops. Okay, next I have a question from Color Blocks. What kind of food do you eat in your painting breaks, especially when you're at home alone and don't want to take your time to cook something healthy? Oh my God, are you watching me? How do you know what I do? I often eat super unhealthy stuff when I'm caught up in a project just because it's faster and I don't really want to take a break, but it never really satisfies me. I get super anxious and angry when I'm hungry. Me too. You get hangry is what you are. And the style of eating doesn't really help improve my mood. Love you. Thanks. It's a great question. Oh God, I'm probably not like a very good person to ask because I'm also a bit of a junk food fiend, but I try not to like buy it very often. So my hope is that if it's not in the house, it's not going to end up in my stomach. I like little like snacky things. So like you say, I am exactly like that. I kind of like to graze while I'm working because I don't know. I don't like to like break up my rhythm too much by like cooking a big thing. And in my apartment or where we live, I don't have a dishwasher. So we don't have a dishwasher. So if I like do anything, I just end up like having to do the dishes. So I don't know. I like little healthy things. I found this great website. They should honestly be paying me to plug this stuff, but I just found this website called gatheredtable.com. And they have the best ideas for like healthy snack stuff. And honestly, I loved it. I like print everything out. Like just like have a banana or like I like nuts. I like olives. I like little like things like that. I'm kind of a salty person. I'm not too much of a sweet person. So I definitely like to have something salty around. You know, veggies with yogurt dip or something is really good. Just have some little pre-made things that you can just grab. Fruit and cheese. I love that kind of thing. So yeah, I feel you. I mean, if there's like a box of cheeses in the house, it's not going to survive very long. So I feel you on that. I have a weakness for like salami, things like that. So I don't buy it because I just know it's naughty and I don't know. But sometimes my boyfriend Brian, my fiance, where my fiance works, they get free snacks, which is like, oh my God, terrible, right? So sometimes he'll like bring them home and I'm like, stop bringing Oreos into this house. What are you trying to do to me? I'm going to be like chubby bride by the time I get married. Oh, okay. I'm not painting here because I need to figure out what color I want to do. I don't know. I do find sometimes watercolors aren't as like intense as I like them. So sometimes I do like to use, markers or color pencils, but let's see if I can come up with something here. So yeah, so try that. Try going. Okay, so my big tip would be, I'm not a nutritionist or anything, but I would definitely say to when you go to the store, go with a plan. Don't go hungry and don't go without a plan because you're gonna end up just buying whatever looks good, and that's where I get myself in trouble. I know I'm like lard looks good. I'm going to buy lard today. Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, good luck with that. Okay, next I have a question from let's see. I've got a question from my dear William Kogoy. William Kogoy, what have you got for me today? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this article. So, okay, I've got to check out this article really fast. So let me check this out. Okay, so I did check out the article that you sent me, William, and I read it for the most part, maybe skimmed it a little bit, just for the sake of time. But he sent us an article called Thinking About Art Practice and the Role of Compromise, and it's on a website called hyperallergic.com. And basically the artist is talking about his struggle with doing what he wants to do, expressing himself as a true artist, and making art that people will buy and sell. Making art that people will buy. In all honesty, I feel like he's being a little whiny about it. He works, I guess he's saying here that he makes full-scale wax objects and they break down and crack over time, so it's kind of like hard to sell them because they don't last, for one thing, but he likes that about it, that's part of like his what he's trying to say with his art. So my opinion on this is, like, honestly, I would never advise, and I've said this before, I would never advise someone to do a specific type of art or a specific style of art to make it sell, unless you don't mind doing that. Most artists don't like doing that. But I will say this, if you want to support yourself, you're gonna have to, like, get off your high horse a little bit. My suggestion to him was, if he truly feels stifled by the business side of art, then he should not be doing art to make a living. He should do something else that he wants to do, and then make his art just to make his art, and not count on that as income. I mean, you can't force people to buy something just because you want to say something, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess I am very aware of the compromise, and luckily for me, for the most part, I do what I want to do, and people like it and buy it. So I kind of have a great situation. I don't typically have to really compromise very much, in all honesty. I mean, I get what he's saying. He's like, I feel like I have to stifle my true message, what I really want to say. And that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, I wouldn't want anyone to have to do that. But again, I don't think you can expect people to just say, okay, cool, well, he's doing exactly what he wants to do, and then you're going to pay for it. People buy things that they want to have, that they want to look at, that make them feel something. So you can't fault the public for that. I mean, just like that question we were talking about earlier is like, well, why do people like stories that aren't that well written? Why do people like watching the Kardashians or whatever? That's just human nature. You can't get mad about it. It's just the way it is. So I don't know. I honestly feel like he's being a little bit whiny about it. He's like, well, why won't they like it if my art falls apart? That's what I wanted it to do. Well, sorry, then don't expect to make money doing it. I mean, yeah, and the article goes on to say, like, how he doesn't really like that all these TED Talks and people like me are telling artists, you need to be a business person, you need to be an entrepreneur. You do, if you want to make a living doing it. So I don't agree with his feeling on that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being an artist and doing something else to make money, though. So I don't know. I'm not sure why that he's not exploring that option. I mean, I guess he's saying that he wouldn't get his work seen. Galleries wouldn't even want to show it because they're not going to make any profit on it. So I guess that's sort of his dilemma. He would make this art that he truly wanted to do, and nobody would see it, and no galleries would show it. So I guess that's a problem. So my advice to him is, sorry, dude, you're going to have to wait till you're dead to get notoriety. So yeah, interesting article. Definitely, thanks for sending that. It's definitely thought-provoking. I'll put a link here if anybody else wants to check that out. Okay, next I have a question from Pretty Girl. Pretty Girl says, how much do your classes cost? And I want to start selling my own art and I don't know what to use. So I think I pretty much already covered that. The class is $2.99, but you use your coupon to get $20 off. TrueFan20. I want to start selling my own art and I don't know how or what to use. So I answered a similar question earlier and told you kind of how I kind of got my feet wet. So I would recommend doing those things that I did. And then I would also recommend, I'm going to do a class on this too. So if you want to kind of wait for that, I'm going to do that too and talk more in depth about kind of launching yourself. It's going to be a class on kind of helping you get launched. But for now, do whatever. Do street fairs, put your stuff on Etsy, just do wherever you think people might start looking at your art. Instagram is a great platform. There wasn't Instagram when I first got started. And I wish there was, because I think Instagram would have been a good place for me. Because you get a lot of eyes on it, and then you can direct them over to your Etsy store. So try that. I mean, don't be afraid. I mean, if nothing happens, if you don't sell anything, then we're going to go to the next step and figure out some more specific things to help you. But for now, just put it out there and see if anybody will look at it. Okay. I just like saw the word Mass Effect on the page, so I started freaking out before I even saw what the question was. So my question comes from Art Plague, and Art Plague says Mass Effect questions. Yes. Maybe we should bring Garrison Grunt down to make a special appearance so they can help us answer. Here's Garrison Grunt. We're ready, Shepard, to answer your questions. I'll be in my office calibrating until you need me. Okay. They also said spoiler alert. Spoiler alert now. So if you have not played Mass Effect, first of all, I highly, highly recommend that you go and play it. But we're going to talk about some game spoilers right now. Okay. Because of you, let's see. Because of you, I tried to play Mass Effect 3, and after playing it, I was really depressed for weeks. I'm so sorry. Me too. Actually, I'm still depressed, and it's been years now. It's not okay. So, Artplay goes on. I can't even play it again. I don't know if I can either. I'm like, actually, I just replayed Mass Effect 2, so I'm supposed to supposedly go to Mass Effect 3 again, and I haven't started yet because I'm too afraid. Joker's face really made me feel guilty that my femshep did not survive. I know. I was wondering, what ending did you choose and why? I chose Destroy. I finished playing, you mean the red light? You picked the red button? Oh god. P.S. I finished playing the first game and started the second so I could have a chance to save my femship. I got attached to her without noticing. Please do Mass Effect video. I will watch it every day. I'm sorry, wait. So you played Mass Effect 3 before you played Mass Effect 1 and 2? Shame on you. Shame on you. Okay, so then you can't even relate to how connected I was to my game, because I had played 1, I had played 2, and then 3. But to answer your question, I chose Destroy as well. And although, to be honest, I don't even know. I'm going to have to do a separate video to talk about the Mass Effect 3 ending, because I will go on an absolute tyrannical bitch fest, because I don't know. I just do not know what they were thinking. I've never seen a series of any kind, except for maybe Seinfeld, that dropped the ball so extremely bad. I don't know. It was so weird. Basically the game ends and you have 3 different buttons that you can push. It was not climactic. It was not heroic. It was stupid. And every single person I've ever talked to just wanted to shoot that freaking Star Child in the face. It was just was an annoying kid, but then freaking BioWare made it so that if you shoot the kid in the face, it ends your game. That's the end of the game. So it's just, oh god, I don't know. I could go on. And honestly, luckily for me, and I guess probably for you, you probably played the extended ending. So when the game first came out, apparently the ending was actually way worse than what you actually than the extended ending. So they released a DLC that extended the ending to supposedly apologize, but no, it's still terrible. But yeah, I was depressed for weeks. When I actually finished playing it, Brian, my fiance, was in the room, and I was like, that's not it, right? That's not freaking it. That's not the end of the game. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, No, oh no, no, no. I can't handle it. I can't talk about it. But yeah, so no, I feel you. I feel you. But yeah, it's a great game. If you haven't played the Citadel DLC, that is fantastic. And they did release that. Get the DLCs. Definitely get the DLCs for all of the Mass Effect games. The DLCs are great. And the Citadel DLC almost not, it does not, but it almost makes up for the ending. It's fantastic. So I decided if I replay Mass Effect 3, I've heard some other people have done this. I'm just gonna play the Citadel DLC as the ending instead of the ending. So before you go to the Cerberus base or whatever the last mission is, just play the Citadel DLC and pretend that's the ending. That's what I'm gonna do, because I can't take it. I can't take it either. Friend, I can't. We can't do it to ourselves. Okay, so moving on from Mass Effect, maybe we will come back to that. Actually, I met some fellow Mass Effect fans here, and they do a Mass Effect podcast here on YouTube, and I may be doing a little guest spot with them, or talking to some of them about Mass Effect. So if that happens, I'll send you over there. Okay, next question comes from Maddie Wilson, and she asks, have you tried acrylic gouache? It's water-soluble while wet, but it has an acrylic binder to make it permanent when dry. Hoping it's the perfect love child of the two. I have not yet tried acrylic gouache. That does sound kind of cool, though. I don't know. I haven't really had a very good relationship with gouache in the past, but, gosh, I do love people who master gouache. I think it looks fantastic. I'm a big fan of Mary Blair, and she uses gouache just so in such a great way. And a lot of Disney artists are actually inspired by her, and I really dig their art too. Like Leilani, she's a gouache artist. I really dig it. So I haven't, but I may look into it. Raven Black asks, would you ever consider coming to the UK? And if you did, can you please do a meet and greet? Oh gosh, I would love to. I have not been there yet. I can't. Of course I would. Usually it's just a matter of financial and practicality. So, hey, if you can find some place that'll bring me over there, hey, I'll totally be down. But you never know. I really would love to, and I'll let you guys know if that ever happens. It would be fantastic. So yeah, it's definitely not for lack of wanting to. I really, really want to. I'm just not sure how I would swing it right now. Okay, I only have time for a couple more questions, and I'm getting close to finishing these anyway, so that's exciting. And I'll see if I can show you guys the final product. I'll probably do like a little speed paint of these too. For those of you that don't like watching all this chit chat here on the paint along. So let's see, as I'm gonna do 3 more questions. So I have a question from Amy Joy, and she asks, I've heard other artists on YouTube say that not everyone appreciates goth dark art. Of course, I get that, but I make digital art that I sell on Etsy, and most of it is happy art. I would like to do more creepy, scary stuff, and wonder if it will scare away my current buyers. Or should I open a second shop dedicated to darker art? I ask you this because you do a mix as well, and you don't shy away from exploring both dark and the light, so to speak. Love your videos. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. This is also something I have struggled with, because I am a little bit of both, to be honest. I'm a bit of a conundrum. I am a very happy person, generally speaking, but I do appreciate a bit of the dark arts, if you will. And I have run into a little bit of trouble with this. For example, since I do a lot of appearances with Disney at Wonderground Gallery, like last year, they decide which prints that I get to take when I do my guest appearances, and my rep at Disney, she's like, well, I was like, oh, I did a lot of new pieces this year if you want to see some of my new work, and she's like, well, she's like, I personally like them, but they're a little too dark to have at Disney, because I did, some vampires and I did some kind of weird things last year. And she's like, I'm going to have to like go with your older stuff because this just can't work for us. So it's very hard because I definitely have some buyers that really prefer my lighter, happier, whimsical stuff that I also enjoy. And then I've got a crowd that appreciates my a little bit darker side. So it's really hard because I have kind of blended mine. So I know that there's some people that don't like all of my pieces. I don't know, to be honest with you. If you don't mind running a separate store, that might be a good idea. I'm not sure. But the only problem is, you don't want to confuse people. But there are there's, I don't know if you know this, but some writers have this issue. They want to write. So Anne Rice is an example I can think of off the top of my head. And she wanted to write some darker, fetishy, pretty edgy stuff. And she was already had her mainstream kind of novels like Interview with the Vampire and stuff. So she actually came up with a pen name, Anne Roclar. And don't look her up. Don't look that up because now I feel weird. Like some of you guys are kind of young. I know they're like, Mom, I want a book from Anne Roclar. Leilani told me to get it. I'm like, no, it's very bad. It's spanking and all kinds of naughty things. Don't look it up. Okay, stop looking it up. Stop. Put your phone down. Anyway, so you could go that route if you wanted to have a pen name. I don't know. It's up to you. I kind of I've sort of made myself into a brand, so to speak. So I don't really want to, one brand is hard enough for me to manage. So I don't really want to separate too much. But you could do this. You could do like a series. Lots of artists like to do that. They're like, so this is my, dabble in the dark art series. And I want to do something a little darker. Prepare for a lot of people getting their feathers ruffled and be like, this doesn't look like you. This doesn't look like your style. This doesn't seem like you. And I'm always like, how do other people know it's you or not? Of course it's you. If you wanted to create it, it's you. So I always kind of get a bit irritated by that comment per se, because it's like, how do you know what's going on in my dark brain? You don't know me. So I don't know. It's your call. Let me know how it goes. Cause I definitely struggle with that. Cause I'm like, sometimes I do have a wide audience that likes my happy work. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know. And other times I question myself too. And I'm like, well, maybe I should go darker. Cause there's definitely a big following for dark art. So I don't know. Hopefully you guys accept me being somewhere caught in the middle. I definitely am. I don't know. I just kind of go with it. Whatever strikes me at the time. So good luck. I know that's a very hard question. That's a hard choice to make. So I wish you luck on that. Okay. Now I've got a question from LB Campbell. Do you have all your artwork scanned for prints, or do you take photos and make scans from the photos? Well, you wouldn't scan the photo. I don't know. It depends. I've answered this before. If it's small enough to fit in my scanner, I scan it. If it's not, then I photograph it. Now I have a nice camera and I've got these studio lights, so I actually can photograph it professionally. If you don't have the proper equipment, if you do a large painting, you're going to have to find a photographer with a setup who can photograph it to be high enough quality for prints, because you definitely don't want something blurry. I don't know. Nowadays, these freaking iPhones are so good. You probably could do it, but be very careful of that. I would definitely bring in an expert. I have a blog post about that. It's on my FAQ page. Actually, it's on my FAQ page. I always get asked about this, so I talk about it a little bit more there, but I don't know. It just depends. I don't usually paint that large. I usually, maybe bigger than this, maybe 18 by 24, but most of the time they fit in my scanner. I have a big scanner, so there that is. Okay guys, that is all the time I have for today's episode, because I gotta go. I have some chicken tortilla soup on the stove, so I gotta go check it now. Hopefully it's not boiling over everywhere. So this is super fun. I hope my bridesmaids like these, and I hope they're surprised by them. I'll show you the final product when I get these done. Anyways, I'll see you guys on another episode really soon, or hopefully some of you in my class. Yay! I hope you guys see you guys over there. All right, so everybody, just remember, art ain't got no rules, fools. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.